So there's some footage I'm going to show you. Absolutely have to see it. Hu Jintao has been removed from the Congress Party. You got to see this thing. So that's the former president of China. It's basically the current president of China is removing the former president of China in a big public event and in a public way. So I want you guys to see this for yourself and make up your own mind, and I'll talk about, as we go through this. So, basically here, you're watching this. They're saying, hey, Mr. Hu, you got to leave. Time to go. It's time to get out. And he's sitting right next to President Xi. They're right next to each other. And you can see the escorts are like, yo, you got to go. They're lifting him by the arm, and he doesn't want to leave. I'm sure you guys can see this is very, very unusual, extremely unusual. So, we've had these reports that President Xi, right, sitting on the left, he's trying to seize power in China. I didn't expect something like this. Usually these kind of events are completely, what's the right word to say, non-eventful. Everyone votes together. That's part of Chinese sort of Communist Party culture, where everyone's voting together. They all literally vote at the same time. So when you see like something like this, where the former president being removed, and now he's like, hey, President Xi, what's going on? What are you doing? All right, well, okay, I guess I gotta go now. Security's escorted me, the former president, out of the room. I don't know what's going on, but I've been told to go. And no one looks at him. Everyone's like, looking away. And this is sort of not good. I don't know how else to say it. I'd love to get your opinion on that. We can look at the footage again. And actually, you know what? Take a look at this. So, when you see the way the room is, and I'm serious, whenever the Chinese Communist Party votes, literally, like all the members reach their hand out at the same time and all push the button to say yes, right? It's all orchestrated, and it's not, it is not unusual for countries to have like basically everything theater orchestrated. But this kind of thing, it seems like, maybe people all knew about it except for Hu Jintao, but I was just thinking about this. So let's say Hu Jintao, the former president, is in on the gag. But what is the gag? The gag is that we're going to forcefully remove you, and you're going to play along with this, and essentially we're going to show that the new president's taking power. I mean, he's already been president for a couple of terms. He's going to go for a third term. I just don't see... I don't... And this is why I'm getting your guys' opinion as well. I'm trying to think, like, is there any reason why you would want to do this kind of... I guess disturbance in the event, something like that. I just can't think of any reason why you'd want to do it in this way, other than I guess you want to show I'm locking the former president in prison kind of thing. I mean, like what? And you can see it's like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? And it's also disrespectful too. Just think about it. It's very, very disrespectful to do that to your former president and treat him in this way. You see this? This is where it's like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Yeah, you just go. Get out of here, kid. It's like, what? That's the former president. So I just find this really disturbing. And, the other thing, too, that's been disturbing about this whole situation, talking about China, is, Biden and the team, they've been ramping up with the whole, with the semiconductor thing. We've talked about that, where we're essentially cutting off all American connection to Chinese semiconductors, which is hurting their semiconductor industry. Now we're talking about cutting off their any connections via AI or quantum computing, which we reported. We also know that the U.S. Congress has been talking about cutting off all investment to Chinese companies by delisting Chinese companies, and has been under negotiations. Why? If you remember the negotiations, what this is all about is we want open books from Chinese companies to know which companies are getting which money from which companies, and which companies could be funneling technology into the Chinese military, and then we don't want American money to fund that stuff. And when I see something like this, I feel pretty uneasy. I don't know what else to say, guys. I've seen a lot of Chinese events. I lived in China. And in fact, you guys may not know this. I used to teach at the university that both Hu Jintao, the current president, and Hu Jintao is the former president, and President Xi Jinping. I taught at the university, Tsinghua University. So I used to teach. They both went to school there. It's the top university in the country. I know how these things go. This is highly, highly unusual. We wouldn't do this kind of thing in USA. Just imagine you're having like a pleasant dinner, something like that, or you're just having like the State of the Union address, and someone comes in and is like, escorts, Nancy Pelosi out of the building, or escorts Mitch McConnell, or, escorts Mike Pence, or escorts, just think how unusual that would be. And just think about how that would be a huge media thing. I mean, cameras are everywhere. And, I just find it really strange because they know cameras are everywhere. So, like, why? What's the advantage of doing this? And the only thing I can think of is like, I don't know. And they're going to come up with some cockamamie story of why, I don't know. It's really, really weird. I just don't see any advantage other than you want to show that you're really mean to the former president, or maybe they're going to declare that Hu Jintao committed some sort of crime and we're protecting China. I don't know. And this is, I'm all conjecture now, but I just, my gut instinct is telling me something's off with this, guys. And I just find it really, really wrong. So I want to hear your thoughts on this stuff. What do you think about this? What's your thoughts? Do you think that this is by mistake? That maybe he wasn't supposed to be there, but it actually, that doesn't make sense either, because he's sitting right next to the president. It's like he's right there. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bit hyper right now because you guys, we're in Korea, I'm just telling you, and North Korea has been shooting missiles at us, which is not so cool. Shells, actually, I should say, and shooting missiles over us into the Sea of Japan. There's been talk that she's trying to consolidate to invade Taiwan. And we've been getting reports, this is real, that I guess China's been trying to recruit Australian pilots and also recruit British pilots. The basic idea is they want both the Aussies and the Brits and maybe other countries to come and train Chinese pilots. And, it just, this kind of thing, I think is, like I said, it's highly, highly, highly irregular. I can't stress that enough. In Asia, everything's about face. Like, how do things look, right? And kind of the joke about, say, China, for example, is they're more concerned on, say, spending money on new paint than they are on putting the wires in the house, right? They're more concerned about how things look opposed to how things work. So to do something like this is not a good look for them. And so I don't see an advantage of like why you'd want to, disruptfully remove a former president sitting right next to you, other than like you're going to claim he's a criminal or something. I don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow what the story they're going to come up with, but it just seems really off. And I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. So anyway, I hope you understand my thoughts and why I'm concerned. Both in, it seems like Biden and the team's getting negative intel coming out of China, meaning like they're getting more like, oh my God, China's becoming more belligerent. Because you keep hearing this stuff from Blinken, actually, Secretary Blinken keeps saying that like, China's timeline to attack Taiwan keeps moving up. And we keep talking about China supporting Russia, all these things. So I know I repeat myself a lot, but it's just like, oh my God, I haven't seen like something like this. I just haven't. So that's my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. And thanks again for watching.